My name is TJ Heinert. I am an enrolled member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe here we're technically on Rosebud Reservation, so the Rosebud Sioux tribe, Lakota Sioux.
Tony Roman, Northern Arapaho.
Yeah, Francisco Roman, Northern Arapaho tribe, Wind River Reservation, Fremont County, Wyoming. Rancher, cowboy.
All the above.
I'm Joe Crazy Thunder, enrolled member of the Northern Arapaho tribe. I live here on the Wind River.
Yeah, I'm Gary Collins, also a tribal member of the Northern Arapaho tribe. I'm also a former tribal chairman.
My name's Scott Weston. I'm from Porcupine, South Dakota, and that's where you are. You're on the suburbs. In Sharp's Corner, we call it. That's what I call it. Skyscrapers everywhere. No, I'm just kidding you.
My name is Chance Weston. We're in Thunder Valley CDC Community Center here on the Thunder Valley property here. I'm the Director of Food Sovereignty.
We're here in Crow Agency, Montana. Today they're having the youth rodeo, Native Days youth rodeo, that's held every year.
Food sovereignty, basically in a nutshell, is being able to provide for yourself when it comes to food in your community, but not just the systems that we would use here in the community, but I guess the knowledge of the basis of how those work. Because systems from time to time based on climate, based on region, those will change here and there, but being able to actually have that baseline knowledge to be able to transition through whether it's climate resilience or anything like that. So one thing that I always like to cite is when USDA made a visit here, they gave us this 2050 statistic, and that as the Earth approaches 10 billion people by the year 2050, we're going to need to increase our food production capacity by 70%. In all the facets, technologies, methods we use now, we're not on pace to hit that, which is a big deal, and that's not just my kids and maybe my kids' kids by then.
Food sovereignty and what it means is critical to our survival. Being able to raise, market, process, and utilize your own type of food and enough of it to keep your own systems going. And not only have Indians been getting bad food, but all of Americans have been getting bad food. The only thing I can think of is just be our own economies and quit fighting. Work together, build our bases, food being huge in that.
You gotta eat, right? And with us, we don't have Kmart, we don't have Walmart. You know, there's all of these big chains, and that's what's killing small town America. That's what's killing all of the outlying towns. It's so much easier to just go run to Walmart. You know, there's a Walmart. Rapid City's probably 68 miles to the north. Chadron's probably 75 miles to the southwest, and that's it. And then there's the little outlying towns. Granted, you know, they do the service, but it's still not enough. By not doing it, you're teaching that thought of the handout and not trying to teach. And that's what this program, what Chance does, is teaching them how to work, teaching them how to grow a garden, teaching them what they need to do. Every different facet that you can think of that's in their thoughts, it's in their minds to start doing this.
A lot of the meat from our project here at Wolakota goes into donation through the Food Sovereignty Initiative. We usually do about 4 or 5 harvests internally for that project. So a family is able to come up and sign up, say this is who I am, this is where I'm from, and that family is able to get a certain amount of ground meat for their family. Community members are able to come purchase an animal at a X amount of dollars, and they're able to process the animal any way that they like. So they're able to get an animal from here. They know it's locally raised, they know it's grass-fed, they know it's taken care of in a respectful cultural manner, so they can utilize that as they like also.
We deal with, you know, the USDA, FSA, NRCS. You know, our lands are the same as our neighbors, but because we live on trust land, you know, we can't use that land for, you know, the collateral. So when they see a tribal member coming into these offices, they look and they say, well, you know, we better not service that contract.
In actuality, Native Americans can only run at the max AUMs is 250, which even our small operations, we struggle to, you know, make ends meet, you know, but we make it work. I mean, a lot of nickel and diamond, a lot. Right now, because of the horse situation, they're actually not issuing any more permits. So if a guy does get enough cows to expand, they won't allow us to do it till we deal with the horse problem, you know.
Beginning farmers and ranchers usually can't afford to get their livestock and the equipment and supplies that they need to run them in that same round of funding. And then when you have to borrow your operating because you've spent all your first money on getting that stuff, so you have to borrow your operating money, and then you're in that cycle. An agriculture bank, no matter what, you've got to make that payment in the fall. So then you go right back to them and re-borrow to operate the next fall. What does that do? It keeps anybody that wants to hold their cattle over until they're big enough to process from doing it. So they got to go through one cycle after another after another.
There's programs, there's the Equips program through USDA, and every time a tribal member applies for it, we just kind of get put on the back burner. So, you know, that's pretty much a roadblock there, you know, and hopefully our relationship with USDA will start getting better, you know. You know, BIA's giving us the ultimatum, either get rid of the horses or at our own costs, or else, you know, we ain't gonna be able to run our maximum amount of AUMs out there, so.
So what do we do as tribal leaders? We got to do something about that. And the something is maximizing our assets, which is our land and our water and our air, the quality of life. We have to maximize all that, but we need capitalization to start that ball rolling. You can't do this because of that CFR regulation, and you can't do that because of a CFR regulation. Well, that window of opportunity passes while we're talking about the Code of Federal Regulations. So we've all coalesced together through INCA, and we've got our stories compatible with each other. Well, we need to do something about that, and that's where we are.
We're making some progress, and I think we're making good progress, but it's the decision makers that influence us more than anything. You know, people that don't know about agriculture.
You know, my kids see me and, you know, they see my argument every day. They said, "Dad, what's wrong?" I said, "Well, you know, we put in for this lease, we didn't get it through the Bureau, you know, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that." So they tell me, "Well, Dad, I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do what you're doing." So we did have a lot of our kids, you know, leave the reservation to go work, you know, in oil fields. Right now, we're at the 11th hour of agriculture. It's not just here, but it's everywhere.
We have people that are really trying to integrate life skills. This is one of them. Lakota Tech, Lakota County, they created the industrial high school. So when you're going to high school, it's hands-on. You learn more with your hands to see, to what you have, how you make things grow, and that example of what's happening to help them feel better. And that's what this place does, and that's what Lakota Tech does.
The youth are too far from being barefoot in the grass. They're being conditioned in that way. And there's a reason for that, and it's not a good reason. We need them back with Mother Earth, playing the roles that they were meant to be here to play.
I don't think it ever gets old. Just being able to see their reaction to when they plant a seed and then being able to come back and water it every day. But then when you start to see the first bud come up, or you start to see it start to break through the soil, really rebuild that relationship of what you eat and where does that come from.
Our children need to have something to look forward to. Weekly, monthly, cowboy way of life, the ranching and stuff. In some of the towns here, you know, that's not happening. There's no youth activities or anything for them.
You got to think of future generations, like
Brownie here.
You know, he's got to get in the ranching business. If it ain't there by the time, you know, his age, then what's he gonna do?
All of our food, fiber, and clothing comes from the land. All of it. And so if the world went really upside down right now, you could be here at Wind River and plant a garden. You can go hunting, you can go fishing, you can go camping. All those things you'll need to survive.
And our tradition is coming back to the point where our sundances are getting a lot more. Our traditional cultures are getting a lot more. The ceremonies. And so people are sobering up. They're getting off drugs. And that's what's starting to create this thing like this.
They're still here. and their numbers are gaining. Those traditions aren't going to die, and I don't think anybody really worries too much about what anybody else thinks about that. That's strong. It's really strong.
And that's exactly who we are as a people, the Sicangu Oyate, the Burnt Thigh Nation, because we ran through the fire to get our survivors, the next generation, across through the fire. The elders and everybody that couldn't make it didn't make it, but the next generation was through it. And as warriors, we made sure that that was happening. We knew that that was going to save us as a people. If there's a storm coming, they don't wall up and sit in a corner like cattle do and wait for it to come over. You're strong and resilient enough, you push through it, you get through the hardship. And when you can do that, this is the result.